Hello friends, family, and any other random person that has stumbled upon this video on the internet. I'm Rachel and this is my channel. So today we're going to be talking about self-love and how to love yourself, and I really don't want this to come off as it's so easy just to love yourself, like just be happy with who you are. Like, everyone struggles with feeling good in their own skin, and I'm really understanding what they need and how to provide that need to themselves by themselves. I feel like a lot of our worth is often put onto what our job is, the people we surround ourselves with, and as much as it's nice to look outward for validation as to why we matter, a lot of self-confidence and a lot of the reason that you feel good about yourself comes from within. Looking inwards instead of outwards is so important when it comes to understanding what you need, because the only way for you to be properly loved by someone else is knowing how to love yourself. To quote the queen herself, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen up in here? Amen. Now let the music play. And for those of you who don't know what that was RuPaul. And RuPaul is a lot of as to why I think I do love myself as well. I took a master class and he talked about, he uses he, him, and she, her pronouns depending on if they're in drag or not. They, them works as well. But in this masterclass, he spoke about tapping into your inner frequency and understanding what resonates with you. And I feel like that's such an important part of loving yourself. But to break down, the easiest way to feel loved by your own self is to perform the 5 love languages to you. Every person has like their own love language, like one thing that makes them feel loved by other people, but we rarely think about how to apply those 5 things to ourselves. I made some notes for this because I really wanted to make sure that I hit every point that I feel is important. I am ad-libbing a lot of what I'm saying. It's coming right from the heart, right from the noggin. But for this one, I wanted to make sure I had just these few points here. Let's go through the 5 love languages. So first on my list here, I have words of affirmation, which I feel might be the easiest to do. It's basically how you talk about yourself and how you talk to yourself and how you compliment yourself. I feel like the words that you use about yourself are so valuable and so powerful in the way in which you actually see yourself and see the world. I saw this TikTok and I think it was Kendall Jenner if I'm not mistaken, and she said something along the lines of, put a photo of your younger self on your bathroom mirror or your bedroom mirror, and every time you get ready, look at her and know that if you're thinking poorly about your body, that's the person you're talking about. On my mirror over here, I've got photos of myself as, I think I was like 5 in one of them, and then one is me as a baby. And every morning I get up, I get ready, and I look in the mirror, and maybe I'm not having a good day. Maybe I'm thinking, oh, like I look so bloated. Oh, like my hair is awful. You know, why do my clothes look like this? And, you know, everyone has these thoughts. And then I'll stop and I'll look at these 2 younger versions of myself. Like one of me is 5, one is a baby. And I'll think, I would never say this to her. I would never call her out and say that her body isn't good enough or her body isn't perfect or her clothes are this or that. You know, and putting that into perspective, that little girl is me and I am her and she is in me still and I am growing as her, and I would never speak to her like that, so why would I speak to present me like that? I feel like since having that up there, not only have I had a lot more compassion with myself, but I've given myself more grace with how I view myself, how I view my actions, and how I view my growth. You know, even if I make a mistake, I look at who I used to be and be like, well, when I was 5, I didn't even know this. And now, 5 minutes ago, maybe I didn't know that, but here I am presently and I know not to make those mistakes anymore. So I feel like, yeah, words of affirmation with this kind of like photo of your younger self habit embedded in really has changed my relationship with me and how I speak to myself. The next love language is acts of service. And in a relationship or situationship or whatever your situation is, you're often like doing things for your partner, like showing up for them in like a way, like making them a meal. For yourself, maybe you can meal prep. You know, the last thing you want to do is be busy and not know what to eat, and like knowing that you've maybe meal prepped on Sunday and you have like lunch for the next few days set. It's something you don't need to think about. Basically, acts of service is essentially doing a task that your future self will be thankful for. So one of the love languages is receiving gifts. And obviously this can be done just through buying yourself things. But I feel like it goes beyond just like buying whatever you want, but buying things that maybe make you feel really good. Last March, I bought myself fresh cut flowers for the very first time because I wanted to. I thought, well, why not? And I didn't realize at that moment that that was me portraying the love language of receiving gifts to myself. Every time I look at those flowers, I thought, I did that for me. Like buying stuff for yourself that creates a good vibe within your room and within yourself, like so good. So I'm not gonna say like go blow the budget. Like it could really be just like a $3 bouquet from Metro. Those little gifts that you do end up getting yourself make a difference. Alright, so another love language is quality time. And for this, I really want to focus on journaling, meditating, or practicing like a habit that's like offline. As much as like maybe like, you know, quality time can be you watching Netflix, 100% that could totally be it. But I feel like the quality time is best spent when you are working on yourself. And not working as in like trying to fix. It's never always like fixing, but just like acknowledging what you're going through. Having a good journal session like once a week, once a month, just kind of dumping all your emotions out there. You know, you can write whatever you want there. You can go on a writing spree, ranting, using whatever language you'd like, and then look back and be like, oh, it's out there, and that is me, and now I am here. Meditating is so good, you know, taking a moment to pause and really be mindful. I think mindful habits really help with the quality time aspect of it. You're just spending time with yourself and this thing. Whether it's a journal, whether you're breathing, whether you're reading, all these little things do add up as to quality time alone. I feel like so often we're rushing through life and we're on to the next, and we rarely stop and think about how far we've come and what we're doing right now. I feel like that's a huge part of quality time, is acknowledging the time that has passed and the time you're in. So that way you can appreciate it once you are in the future. And the last one is physical touch. And you're probably thinking, what does that mean? Like hug myself? And I feel like for this one, it goes along the lines of, you know, getting a bath bomb, taking a long bath, doing like a body scrub, like basically upping like the self-care, skincare, body care regime. I feel like doing like that extra sheet mask is like a form of like physical touch and extra care for yourself. Massaging your hands after a long day of like typing at a keyboard. Like there are many little things that you won't realize are physical touch until they are. Going back to my video that talked about curating your space to support your mental health, having cozy items around, like putting on that soft jacket or wrapping yourself up in that soft blanket. I feel like those are also elements that can fall under physical touch, which I feel like are a great way to love yourself. Like be cozy, like take care of yourself, and it'll be good. When it comes to self-love, a lot of it comes down to scheduling you time and prioritizing things within your life that maybe you had neglected because you're so focused on all these other aspects of life. And it's not easy. Sometimes, you know what, there are weeks where I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I had meal prepped, but I didn't. Or there are weeks where I'm like, I have not given myself like a proper time to like just sit and journal. And that's okay. You're allowed to have bad weeks. I think even on those bad days, you just have to keep going and knowing that eventually you're going to hopefully get to a space where you can have the time to put back into yourself. You know, investing time within yourself only helps you invest time in other things that you love to do that are exterior to your inner world. While I fully believe you are the main character of your story, you also just can't assume that you are the main character of everyone else's story. And that's where I feel like when you put value in others to make you feel valid in your own self, that's where self-love sometimes buckles and falters, because then you're expecting everyone to see you the way that you see you. But the only person that will understand you your entire life and know about everything you've gone through is yourself. There's only going to be one life that you live. And if you're the only person that really gets you, like that's great. There's some people that go their whole lives maybe not really understanding who they are, not embracing who they are. So this is our chance to not only understand ourselves, but to love ourselves fully, as no one else can, because no one else really knows who we are. You know, you could have partners that you've lived with for like 20 years, or like best friends that you've known your whole life, but when it comes down to it, only you know everything that has gone on in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, in your spirit. You know what I mean? So when it comes to self-love, it is a journey, and it's not always going to be perfect, and you're not always going to love yourself fully. I hope that we all work towards always loving ourselves, but it's a matter of where we are in life, and there's so many other obstacles and factors that play into it. But when it comes down to it, if you're able to put those 5 love languages to yourself, so physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, and receiving gifts, there we go. If you can give those to yourself and feel like you're taking the best care of yourself, then that is reflected in not only how you look at life moving forward, but how you interact with it and the people within it. I hope this has been helpful. I'm really passionate about just like really understanding yourself as a human being and being compassionate in knowing that we're always growing and changing. So I hope that you feel like you've taken away something from this video. Let me know in the comments the way that you feel most loved, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. It's not for me to say.